Hello gals and guys, Mr. Ambrose here, making an extra video just on graphing the sine function. Decided to make this extra video that you could perhaps look at it to perhaps help you as you're trying to complete your trig quiz. So let's take a look at this graphing example. We want to graph one complete cycle for this particular sine function on the axes provided below. So as I mentioned in the videos, I'm going to use my AFPI acronym to help get everything set up. So the A, which stands for the amplitude, well, in this case, the A value I'm going to use here is -8. That's the number in front of my sine function. And I'm going to multiply that in to the y values of the sine function, which those y values are 0, 1, 0, -1, and 0. So I'll distribute in the -8 to those numbers to get 0, -8, 0, 8, and 0. Now, be careful. The sine function, just like the cosine function, can have a vertical shift. And in this problem, that's happening here because we're adding 4 to the sine function. So to these values, I'm going to add 4 to each of them to get the final y values for the sine function. So 0 plus 4 would give us 4, and -8 plus 4 would give us -4. 0 plus 4 would give us 4. 8 plus 4 would give us 12. And 0 plus 4 would give us 4. And so these are the actual y values that I'm going to use to graph this particular sine function. And now I'm going to scale the y-axes in an appropriate manner. Now you can scale them however you like, so long as you fit your points on the provided grid. Because I'm going to have to go down to -4, but up to 12, I'm going to perhaps scale my y-axis by, I think, by 3. So I know that technically -4 is the lowest y value, so I'll just, carefully plot that in here when I have to go down to -4. And then when I have to go up to, say, 4, I'm also just going to, carefully plot that, on the set of axes provided. So now that I have my y-axis set up, I'm going to continue on with my AFPI. The F is bar frequency, which is the 1/4, because that is being multiplied to the x. The period is always found by taking 2 pi and dividing by our frequency. And when you do this, you can, on your calculator, perhaps just take 2 and divide it by 1/4. And 2 divided by 1/4 would give us 8. And then we just got to make sure to include the pi in there. And then the interval we can always get by taking the period, which in this problem is 8 pi, and dividing that by 4. And 8 pi divided by 4 would give us 2 pi. And this is how I'll scale the x-axis. And so here, I'll just, as I've always done, every 2 markers, I'll label the respective angle. So out from the origin, this should be 2 pi. And then remaining consistent with this interval 2 pi, the next marker here should be 2 pi more than 2 pi, which is 4 pi. And then 2 pi more than 4 pi is 6 pi. And then another 2 pi from 6 pi would give us 8 pi. So my y and x axes are now properly scaled, and so I'll start plotting my points. On the y-axis, when the angle is 0, my y value there is 4, so I'll plot that point there. At the next angle, 2 pi, my y value there is -4, so I'll plot that point there. At the next angle, 4 pi, my y value there is 4, so I'll plot that point there. At the next angle, 6 pi, my y value there is 12, so I'll plot that point. And then at the last angle of 8 pi, my y value there is 4, and I'll plot that point there. And then now I'll just draw my curve through these points, remembering that, just do your best to try to make it as smooth as possible. And there would be my sine graph for this particular function. So I hope this video helped you out and, understand how to graph your sine function. And, I really hope this helps you with, completing your trig quiz. Good luck with it and take care.